Our second speaker, Yanet Skrove, Mexico. Yanet, please.
Thank you, Connie. Day of the Dead, a true celebration of life. I grew up in Mexico, and one of the events that I remember celebrating was Dia de los Muertos. The Day of the Dead is celebrated throughout Mexico and also in other places in Latin America, and now even in the United States as well. The Day of the Dead is not a day to be sad, but a day to celebrate the life of those who had passed. In Mexico, prior to the arrival of the Spanish conquistador, several Mesoamerican communities inhabited the nation. They had their own pre-established culture, beliefs, and religion. When the Spanish arrived in the 1500s, they also brought in with them their own beliefs, including the Roman Catholic faith. In the article Dia de los Muertos, published by the University of New Mexico, Latin America, and Iberian Institute, they indicate that pre-existing indigenous beliefs were not very different from those brought in by the Spanish. For example, Mesoamerican inhabitants, and especially the Aztec Empire, they believe in eternal life in which souls continue to live in the afterworld. They also believe that their great god, Huitzilopochtli, was born of a Virgin Mary, a virgin goddess, excuse me. The cross was also a sacred sign, which symbolized the cardinal signs of direction. They had built temples and also had ceremonies. The indigenous people had been celebrating and honoring the dead for at least 5,000 years by the time that the Spanish arrived. The Spanish had to be tolerant to the existing traditions, and Dia de los Muertos is probably one of the best ways that both cultures were combined. In a Smithsonian blog article by Maria Anderson in 2016, the Aztecs dedicated certain months to celebrate and remember the departed. And this was eventually infused and intertwined with the Spanish Date of the Saints, which is celebrated on November 1st, and the Date of the All Souls, which is celebrated on November 2nd by the Catholic Church. Today, Mexico is the second country in the world with the most Catholics, according to RomanReports.com. In a National Geographic article tabbed 10 Things to Know About the Date of the Day, written by Logan Ward, she explains that Aztecs, along with other indigenous inhabitants, considered mourning of the dead disrespectful. The pre-Hispanic culture saw death as a natural phase of life, a continuation of life, and a life celebration. One of the very important aspects of the Dia de los Muertos was the ofrendas or offerings, which people can build at the privacy of their homes, or they can also build it at the cemetery. Many believe that the dead will return and celebrate together with their friends who are alive. The purpose of the ofrendas was to offer to the dead something that they loved while they were alive, such as their favorite food, their favorite drinks, their hobbies, photos adorned with colors, candles. The altars are not for worshiping, but they are a way to welcome the spirits back into the realm of the living. Ofrendas might incorporate 4 essential elements of nature, which are earth, wind, water, and fire. Water is left in a pitcher so that the spirits can quench their thirst. Papel picado or traditional banners represent the wind and the fragility of life. Earth is represented by food as well as symbols of aromas of the harvest season. Candles represent the fire so that the spirits can find their way home. Where I grew up, we used to celebrate Dia de los Muertos by going to a mass at the cemetery. People will usually walk 1.5 miles and then we will pray together. This was followed by going back to the town plaza at the center of the town, where all the people from the town and people from all the schools put together displays and altars to commemorate our loved ones. This was a happy day full of celebration, colors, flowers, and harmony. When I think about Dia de los Muertos, I see bright colors, decorations, I hear music. I want to celebrate together with my loved ones, and I believe that my loved ones who had passed are in heaven and that one day we will be reunited. What we know of Dia de los Muertos today has been celebrated for over 500 years, following the diffusion of the Mesoamerican culture and the introduction of Catholicism from the Spanish. Dia de los Muertos is about celebrating the memories and life of those who had passed, but it also symbolizes a source of cultural identity that is composed of the pre-Hispanic history and influences, as well as those brought in by the Spanish, which make part of my Latino American culture heritage. Thank you.
Thank you, Yanet, for sharing with us. Very interesting.